Welcome back to Balderdash Academy. Our scores are: in last place, we have Nate with 20, Steve with 40 points, and a two-way tie between Marie and Molly with 90. It is now time for our next minute or less randomized question. So, our next question, let me spin the randomizer. Jack, poutine, what is it and why?
So I've had poutine once before. I believe it is sort of like these wide, like wedges of potato fried. Basically, it's like French fries, but thicker and heartier. And then it's covered with cheese curds and gravy. It's a Canadian delicacy. I've had it only once before. Delicious. But I was also asking myself the same question after I was done eating the whole thing. As I felt that gravy going through my bloodstream, I was like, oh, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Indeed.
But it's so good.
But the why, I suppose, would be because it's delicious.
You gotta
but-
love food that will make you hear your arteries harden.
And
Delicious.
that's probably why I've only had it once before.
My heart working harder than normal. I feel like I can hear it trying to find it.
Yeah. Why I no think good right now.
Oh! There's the tone. It's time for our second pop quiz. This pop quiz is from the head of STEAM, Professor Nate Green. Nate, what do you have for us?
Well, so I want to actually get into some things that you can do outdoors because right now it's a good time to be outdoors and get some distance in there, social distancing. And some national parks are actually allowing for social distancing by being able to reserve time frames for when you go into a park. For example, the Flume Gorge, and I'm actually going to read to you what's on their website. It's a natural gorge extending 800 feet at the base of Mount Liberty within the White Mountains of New Hampshire. The walls of the Conway granite rise to a height of 70 to 90 feet and are 12 to 20 feet apart. The Flume Trail is a one-way 2-mile loop starting at the check-in booths, and the entire loop takes about 1.5 hours, and it finishes at the Flume building. It's amazing. I actually sent Bob some pictures and video of it that we can put in here, so that way you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. And what's amazing is just the cliffs, and then the vegetation growing on them, and the waterfall. Another cool thing is that this flume was discovered in 1808. Now, what I want to ask you guys is I want you to tell me who discovered it, what they were doing in the area, and how old was this person? Because I like to. Let's start with Steve.
Sorry, didn't mean to put you on blast.
Nate, what year did you say, Nate? I'm sorry.
1808.
1808.
You really have to start with me, huh? You're really going to make me improvise tonight? Oh, okay. So this was discovered, obviously, 1808, as Nate said, by President Taft. Everyone knows he was alive in 1808, and he was 12 years old. And what he was doing in this specific locale was he was already an extremely obese person. And unfortunately, most of the bathtubs in his hometown couldn't fit his girthiness. So he was check. So what he was trying to do was find I wish I hadn't aged him 12. Why did I do that at the beginning? What he was trying to do.
Hefty 12-year-old.
Yes, he's extremely hefty. And I hate to put down the weight of a 12-year-old, but this is
Don't
just
body shame.
factual.
Good work, Steve.
Thank you so much, guys. And so he needed to bathe. So he went here and would ride the flume, that 2-mile circuit. And he just jumped in there with a bar of soap. And in no time, he was clean. There you go, a future President Taft.
So we have a overweight future President Taft just running around with a bar of soap, jumping into flumes. Okay.
Oh, my God.
And Molly.
Oh, wow. Okay, just to clarify, the original question is who discovered the flume?
Who
Or the
discovered the
park?
flume? What were they doing? And how old were they?
Well, I'm glad that's the question because I do know this answer. So, who discovered the flume? What a lot of people don't know is that this actually abuts Jellystone Park, really famous, made famous by the TV classic Yogi Bear. And so, before Yogi Bear and his sidekick Boo Boo, much like you and Steve on your podcast, of course, you'd be Yogi, Steve would be Boo Boo. They explored all of Jellystone Park. I mean, they mapped it out so that they knew where to shoot every scene in that animated series. So one day they came across the flume. It's right borders Jellystone Park. They couldn't use it because it's part of the White Mountains National Park. They couldn't use it in Yogi Bear, but they did discover it and are credited with it with a plaque that is placed under the waterfall where no one can see it.
Loving the details.
Yogi Bear and Honey Boo Boo.
Hey, boo-boo.
So that's great. And Marie.
So Steve was onto something with it being a 12-year-old, but it was not future President Taft. It was a 12-year-old little girl named Shirley who just recently the gorge flume was discovered in late January. She received a puppy for Christmas that year, and the puppy got out her backyard and she was chasing this puppy. She never let it out of its sight, and then all of a sudden the puppy's soaring down this epic water adventure, and she just goes right with it, and she gets the puppy and she's holding it. And so it was discovered by 12-year-old little Shirley saving her puppy from drowning down the flume.
I just want to say that was great sound effects that you added in there.
Yeah.
With the wind, thank you. Yes, that
Really
was
realistic
very
wind.
intentional. Yes.
I hope you didn't break the wind.
No, not that time. I'll let you
Boo.
So we have
You got booed by
100
the guest, Nate. That's the first time. Usually everyone's just like, Nate, you're the greatest person of all time.
Fine. He's
Have some
won
points,
all
Nate.
of them.
Have all the points.
Okay, obese 12-year-old. All right. So, Bob, what do you have?
So, the Flume Gorge was discovered by a 104-year-old Grandma Theophonia Flume. So, she went by Theophonia. The nickname for that is Tiffany. So, she was known as Great Grandma Tiff, and she was out collecting hazelnuts in the New Hampshire woods when she stumbled across this gorge. And if I'm not mistaken, the gorge was uncovered by I think it was heavy snowfall. And when the snow melted, there was this gorge. Nobody knew it was there before. So she went out. She didn't get many hazelnuts, but she did find a large crevice.
Hazelnutty cracks. All right. Now, so we have 12-year-old future president, obese, bar soap jumper. We have Yogi Bear, Yellowstone's right next to New Hampshire, and Jellystone. Oh, Jellystone. I thought you said Yellowstone.
You don't get it confused. No, that's a different. Yeah.
Okay.
When Jellystone blows, it's just picnic baskets.
Picnic baskets. It's pronounced.
Yes.
And Marie's wind-blown effect of catching a dog flying down the river, and Bob's nuts in the gorge.
Nuts and crevices.
That Aunt Tiff found.
So how do you like
Great
to
out, Tiffy.
spread out these points?
Holy cow. Really good answers all around. So I'm going to say, first of all, just a base 10 points for everybody for
nice.
going into detail and giving some really quality answers. Another 10 points to Steve for making me lose my and I'd say another 10 points to Molly for the story with Yogi Bear and all of that. That was really enjoyable. I think I'm gonna have to go with Marie's story about saving that poor dog, though. That one just kind of pulls at your heartstrings. So I'm gonna go ahead and give Marie
Get that puppy.
25 points.
Thank you.
25
You know,
big
Get
money.
that puppy.
It's
All
funny
right.
that you liked Marie's because the actual answer is nothing like that. What it is actually closer to Bob's. It was discovered. Yeah, it was discovered by a 93-year-old nicknamed Aunt Jessie Gersney. She accidentally came upon it while she was fishing, and she had trouble trying to convince her family members to go and take a look at it. Eventually, she persuaded other people to come and see it for themselves, and that's how it was discovered. And since then, people have been flocking back to the gorge. And I don't think dogs are actually allowed there or overweight future presidents.
What?
Maybe bears. There may be bears, though.
There you go.
Right.
All right. So, our next randomized question for Jack. Jack. If you were a season, what would you be?
Ooh. Ooh, if I were a season.
All the leaves are.
If I were like, what would I like to be? Which season would I like to be, or which season would
Answer it
describe me?
however you think is best.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Get in there. Get there, Jack.
You know, I didn't used to like it so much when I was a kid, probably because I had to go to school. But autumn nowadays, I find I'm appreciating a lot more because it's, especially in Michigan, our summers can be rather brutal because of the lake effect humidity that surrounds us. And so when that humidity starts to break and it's cool, it's not too cool, but it's cool enough just to need a light jacket, and you get to go out and you get to see just the natural fireworks display that the trees are putting on with their beautiful, beautiful leaves. I'd say it's hard to beat that. It's hard to beat autumn. Not to mention all
was
the
wrong.
cider and donuts.
Yeah,
All
donuts,
right.
man. It's-
I was wrong. I swear. I thought you were going to say paprika.
So, our next game is Lie, Lie Again. I will read a weird or unusual fact about a select member of the faculty. The statement can be the truth, or it could be a lie. Our visiting professor and fellow faculty members may question the subject to better understand whether or not the statement is true or a lie. Either way, the subject must convince everyone that the unusual fact is true, no matter how absurd it sounds. Our statement tonight, by popular demand, is my own.
Yes. We've been waiting for
So-
this.
The statement. The first play I had produced off-Broadway was one I wrote when I was 16 years old.
What was the name of the play, Bob?
The name was Love, Trust, and Escalation, and that was the fourth title. That title has been used for about 6 other different projects, all based on that original play.
As at 16, what was the inspiration behind this play? What was going through your teenage mind?
So we were shooting videos in the summer, and I was the screenwriter. I was also 1 year away from starting stand-up comedy, so I was the comedy guy. I wrote the show to be one of the vignettes in a summer video. and I had the old script writer program on a Tandy that I wrote the script in, and it just sat there. We never got around to shooting the video that summer. And then in 2004, I retrieved the plays off of the screenplay off of that drive when I was transferring my files, saw it, and decided to make a couple of tweaks and then submit it to festivals, and it got selected.
When you say a couple of tweaks, do you mean like literally just a couple of little minor details that you wanted to work out, or did you find that you had to do a more extensive retooling?
I added a better resolution. So the subject matter was the punchline of the joke wasn't correct in the final. So the punchline, it worked, it was funny, but people were laughing at the wrong thing. So I had to change it so that they were laughing with the characters and the absurd situation, and not at the character and their situation. Yes.
Yeah, that's important.
Marie.
Difference.
Did you have any like stage readings or reads of the play locally before it went off Broadway?
No.
No locally read.
No.
That is so ballsy.
I usually don't.
Yeah.
The first time I've ever heard my show before it was produced was when I won Crowbait. I typically
Wow.
Bob, what
Jack.
what is Off-Broadway in this scenario?
I was to say, is this off-Broadway or off-Broadway?
Right.
it was West 43rd Street, across from the theater that plays Les Mis.
So almost
Okay.
on Broadway, basically. Just
Yes.
off Broadway. Yeah, yeah.
Around the corner from Broadway.
Around the corner from Broadway.
On Broadway. Did you go and see it?
Yes, I did. So it was part of a festival, and every week the best plays were selected and they moved on to the next week. And my show was one of the finalists. So at the big competition night, I got to go down. I went down with my aunt and uncle and Jess, and we went and saw the show.
Nice.
Were you happy with it? Like, did they do a good job?
Yeah, but I mean, I was just the playwright. The real show, I mean, you're an actress. The real show is an equal collaboration between the vision of the director and the actors spend more time with the characters than I did writing them. So
Yeah.
their viewpoint is just as valid as mine. So did I like it? Yeah. But because of that, it was completely new to me. I got to see elements of my own work that I never pictured. And therefore, I mean, who wants to watch something when you already know the ending? So it was good.
That's
I mean,
true.
I really enjoyed it. Next question. Nate.
So you wrote it initially when you were 16. When was it that you came back to revisit it and adjust that ending? Was it like, when was it?
20 years later. Wow. No, probably 15. So here's the deal. I'm good with design and I'm good with language. I'm bad with math. I wrote it.
Yeah, I guess.
I think Alan's good at math.
I wrote it
Yeah.
in 1991,
Mhm.
and I kind of finished it in the early 2000s, 2003. I think 2004 is when I transferred the drive.
Very cool.
You,
And,
you said you and Jess were together when you were 16?
No, but when I
you went to
rewrote
see
the
the
show,
play.
we were.
Oh, yeah.
When we
yeah.
went to see the show,
Okay.
I was married. I'd just been married.
I was going to say,
wait.
where were the kids?
Wait, did we find out what year the show was actually produced?
The show was produced in 2006.
Okay.
It wasn't originally produced in New York, though. It was originally produced in Austin for Shrewd Productions as part of their Cheater Festival. And I did not get to go see that production, but I was incredibly pleased with the production quality and the professionalism of the company. So Shrewd Productions in Austin.
You know, Bob, I don't doubt you are a fantastic and well-published playwright. I don't doubt that this is true-ish. But I know you, and I bet you changed one minor thing, like you were actually 18 or something when you wrote it. Like, I know, yeah, it's gonna be a technicality. Like, it wasn't like really off-Broadway. It was like, it's not at the theater he said it was or something. I'm gonna go with your line.
All right, so we have a lie for Molly. Nate, what's your answer?
Oh.
All right. This is really heavy stuff for a 16-year-old, and I agree with Molly's points, but it's Bob.
But it's Bob.
That's it.
If it was if it was any other, yeah. And I mean, then he had all of his hair.
So did that make me like a superpower or something?
I mean, I need there to be variety. There's already a lie. I gotta say true because it very possibly could
True
be.
for Nate. Steve, what's your answer?
Before I give my answer, I will say, Bob, I don't know if you knew this, but this actually was produced on Broadway as well. The filmed version of it was shown in the Porn Theater on Broadway. It was called Love, Trust, Masturbation. So
that was right after the
you
Batman,
know my work,
Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yes,
see, that wasn't spider webbing coming out of his wrist.
Is that too far? Or is that just right? I don't know.
Wasn't Paul Rubin in it?
Steve, what's your answer?
My answer is this is true. I'm pretty positive I know this about you, Bob, because we've played a lot of disc golf together, and you tend to talk about just random facts about your life. And so I think I know a bunch of random things about you just because we spent a lot of time together doing passive things. So I'm pretty positive this is true, unless you're catching me on a technicality, like Molly said.
So I'm with Steve in that, like, I've heard Bob talk about this before. However, this is his first time doing Lila again himself, and so okay, I'm gonna go. Oh God, I'm like really worked up about this. False. He's telling a lie.
All right.
Jack,
Much
good
like
luck.
Flume Gorge, we're split right down the middle.
Jack,
No,
we
well, good
have
reference.
Molly with a lie, Nate with the truth, Steve with the truth, Marie with a lie. What's your call?
You know, I mean, we only just met today, but I thought your answers came very naturally. You didn't seem to be struggling for a whole lot of details.
He never struggles for
and
details.
The story seemed very genuine to me. I have no reason to doubt you. And like it's a pretty cool story, and I want it to be true. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that you're telling the truth.
All right. So we have Molly with a lie, Nate with the truth, Steve with the truth, Marie with a lie, and Jack with the truth. The correct answer, or the actual answer, is that it is completely true.
Nice.
I was going for the technicality angle, and I got two of you.
You knew that we knew you.
Yep.
It was produced by Turtle Shell Productions as part of 8 Minute Madness. I wrote it when I was 16 years old. I wrote some pretty heavy subject matter, and part of the subject matter was inspired in the fact that I was reading a lot of Greek mythology. And I wanted to kind of write a modern translation of a Greek epic in 15 minutes. The Austin show was an edited down 10-minute version, and the 8 Minute Madness was a speed version, so they did it and fit it within 8 minutes. But yeah, it's all true. And my first time ever hearing my work ever before submitting was at Crowbait. So, yeah. So, Yeah. Now I know
Damn it,
how
Bob!
uncomfortable everybody else felt. So, that's the end of our first half. Our score. Oh, actually, Jack, I forgot. How do you want to score?
Yeah, there you go.
I
Oh,
got distracted.
Yeah, you're fine. Honestly, like that was a really cool story. I'm gonna go ahead
Yeah.
and give you 25 points for that.
Yeah.
25. Wow. Okay. So
Still
that's
in
the end
last
of our
place.
halftime. Our scores
with you,
as
Nate.
they stand. In last place, we have Nate with 30 points. I'm next with 35. Steve has 60.
Whoa.
Molly has 110. And in our lead is Marie
Wow.
with
Yes.
125. Join us when we return with Coach Steve and Mask Charades. Only on Balderdash Academy. Go Dashers! For complete episodes and more, visit us at balderdashacademy.com.
The Balderdash Academy PR firm is at it again to help usher a little-known football team into the 21st century with a new name. What could possibly go wrong? Pass the pigskin and kick that thing through the goal thingy at the end and give them a point or 7 or I don't know how it works. Part 4 of this week's episode probably won't help either, but it'll be funny. Only on Balderdash Academy.
Thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. You can find us on your favorite podcast service as Balderdash Academy. Go Dashers!